Black single dad saved his drunk boss from trouble. The next day, she didn't pretend to forget. Stellan Holloway had learned to be invisible. At 34, working as executive driver and security for Brennan Pharmaceuticals CEO, invisibility was a survival skill. You drove rich white executives around Manhattan, heard their phone calls, witnessed their breakdowns, and forgot everything by morning. That was the job. Stell, I need you tonight. Ainsley Pierce, Coco Brennan's executive assistant, said that Friday afternoon. Ms. Brennan has the charity gala at the plaza. She'll need a ride there and back. No problem. What time? 7 p.m. pickup. And Stell, she's been drinking more lately, since the breakup with Forrest. Just be prepared. Stellan understood. Cosette Brennan, 31 years old, blonde, brilliant, and recently heartbroken after her fiancé Forrest Kane cheated with her own VP of marketing. She'd been holding it together at work, but rumors of her unraveling were everywhere. At 7, Stell picked her up from her penthouse. Coco emerged, looking perfect. Silver gown, blonde hair swept up, diamond earrings. But her eyes were already glassy. She'd been drinking before he arrived. Evening, Ms. Brennan. Stellan, how many times do I have to tell you? Call me Coco. Ms. Brennan makes me feel like my mother. Company policy, ma'am. I'm supposed to maintain professional distance. Professional distance, right. Because God forbid the help get too familiar. She wasn't usually like this. Sharp-edged and bitter. The alcohol was talking. At the gala, Stell waited outside with the other drivers. 3 hours later, Ainsley texted, "She's very drunk. Lost control. Can you help extract her quietly? She's in the bathroom, won't come out." Stell found Ainsley outside the ladies' room looking panicked. "She's crying. Won't stop, won't leave." Forrest showed up with his new girlfriend. Your VP replacement. Coco confronted them publicly, made a scene. Now she's locked in there and I can't get her out. Let me try. Stell knocked gently. "Ms. Brennan? It's Stellan. Ainsley asked me to check on you." "Go away. I'm fine. Perfectly fine. Just hiding in a bathroom at a charity gala because my ex-fiancé is parading his mistress around. Totally normal CEO behavior. Ma'am, you're not fine. And that's okay. But you can't stay here. Let me help you leave with dignity." Silence. Then the lock clicked. Coco emerged, mascara running, hair disheveled, clearly drunk and devastated. "I made a fool of myself. Everyone saw. I'm the pathetic CEO who couldn't keep her man. You're the CEO who confronted someone who hurt you. That's not pathetic. That's human. Now let's get you home before more people see you like this." He guided her out through a service entrance, avoiding cameras and gossip-hungry guests. Got her into the car. She cried the entire drive back to her penthouse. "Why does this hurt so much? I'm successful, powerful, independent. I shouldn't need him. But Stell, I feel so alone. Like I'm not enough. Not pretty enough, not warm enough, not whatever enough. Ms. Brennan, you're more than enough. Forrest cheating is about his character, not your value. You don't know that. You don't know me. To you, I'm just the boss, the rich white woman who pays your salary. I know you work 70-hour weeks. I know you personally fund scholarships for underprivileged students. I know you cried when we passed that homeless vet last week and made me stop so you could give him money and resources. You're not just the boss. You're a good person going through a bad time." They arrived at her building. Coco tried to exit but couldn't manage the car door in her condition. Stell helped her out, supported her weight as they entered the lobby. "I've got her from here," the doorman offered, clearly uncomfortable with the black driver helping the drunk white resident. "I need to make sure she gets in safely." In the elevator, Coco leaned heavily against him. "You smell good, like sandalwood and something else. What is it?" "Cedar. I make my own soap. My late wife taught me." "You're widowed?" "You never mentioned that." "You never asked. We don't exactly have personal conversations, ma'am." At her door, Coco fumbled with keys. Stell gently took them, unlocked her penthouse. Inside was stunning but sterile. Expensive furniture, no personal touches. A showcase, not a home. "Do you have someone who can stay with you? Friend? Family?" "My brother Thayer's in California. My friends are all corporate, fair weather types. I'm alone. Story of my life." She stumbled toward the kitchen. Stell followed, worried. Coco reached for a bottle of wine. He stopped her. "Ma'am, you've had enough. You need water, aspirin, and sleep. Don't tell me what I need. You're not my keeper." "No, I'm someone who cares whether you're okay. Drink this." He handed her water, which she took reluctantly. "Why do you care? I'm just your boss." the person who signs your checks. You're also a human being who's hurting. That matters more than job titles. Coco started crying again. I'm so tired, Stell, of being strong, of being perfect, of pretending I have it all together when really I'm falling apart. Forrest said I'm too cold, too career-focused, that I'll end up alone because I put work before relationships. What if he's right? He's not. You're driven and successful, but I've seen you be kind, generous, vulnerable. That's not cold, that's human. Forrest's the one who failed, not you. You barely know me. I've driven you for 2 years. I know more than you think. I know you take calls from your mom, even though they upset you. I know you donate anonymously to Children's Hospital. I know you remember birthdays of every employee. You're not cold. You're just guarded. There's a difference. Coco looked at him, really looked, for maybe the first time. You're observant and kind. Why do you work as a driver? You seem capable of more. I am. I have a degree in business management from Howard University. But I also have a 6-year-old son I'm raising alone after my wife died. Driving pays well, has flexible hours. Lets me be present for Indy. It's enough. Indy? That's your son's name. Indigo, but we call him Indy. He's the reason I do everything. The reason I stay professional, keep boundaries, avoid complications. I can't risk this job. I would never fire you for helping me. You might not, but others would question my motives. Black man helping drunk white boss. People make assumptions. I just wanted to get you home safely. Tomorrow, we pretend this didn't happen. You go back to being the CEO. I go back to being invisible. That's how this works. Coco grabbed his hand. What if I don't want to pretend it didn't happen? What if I want to actually talk to you? Get to know the man who shows me more kindness than anyone in my life right now. Miss Brennan. Coco, please, just for tonight, call me Coco. Coco, you're drunk and heartbroken. Tomorrow you'll regret this conversation. I should go. Don't. Please. I don't want to be alone. Just stay until I fall asleep. I promise I won't make it weird. I need someone. Against his better judgment, Stell stayed. Made sure she got to her bedroom safely, drank more water, took aspirin. He sat in a chair by the door while she climbed into bed. Thank you, Stellan, for not judging me, for seeing me. You're welcome. Now sleep. Within minutes, she was out. Stell waited another hour to make sure she was truly asleep, then let himself out. On the drive home to his small apartment in Queens, where Bertie Locke, his elderly neighbor, was watching Indy, he couldn't stop thinking about her, not as the boss, but as Coco, the vulnerable woman behind the CEO mask, and that terrified him. Hello, my Stop Racism family. Thank you for tuning in today. Before we dive deeper into this beautiful love story, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the story so far? Do you believe love can truly conquer prejudice? Let us know in the comments. We love reading them. And trust me, your words motivate us to keep making these videos. Let's make this video reach at least 50 comments. Your support means the world to us, and it drives us to create even more meaningful content for you. So don't forget to comment, share, and keep spreading love. Monday morning arrived with dread. Stellan was certain Coco would either pretend Friday night never happened or fire him for overstepping. That's how these things worked. Rich people embarrassed themselves, and the help became convenient scapegoats. He arrived at the office early, as always. Dropped Indy at school first, promising him they'd go to the park after work. Indy had been asking about his mom. Lately, 3 years gone, and his son still missed Saffron desperately. Stell understood. He missed her too. At 8 a.m., Ainsley approached his desk in the parking garage. Stell, Miss Brennan wants to see you, in her office. Now, here it was, the firing. The awkward conversation where she'd blame him somehow for her embarrassment. He took the elevator to the top floor, executive territory he usually avoided. Walked past judging stares from other executives who wondered what the driver was doing in their domain. Coco's office was massive. Floor-to-ceiling windows, modern furniture, awards lining shelves. She stood looking out at Manhattan, back to the door. Miss Brennan, you wanted to see me? She turned. No pretense, no corporate mask, just honest eyes and a serious expression. Stellan, sit, please. He sat, uncomfortable in the expensive chair meant for board members, not drivers. I'm not going to pretend Friday night didn't happen. I'm not going to act like you didn't see me at my absolute worst, drunk, crying, making a scene. That would be disrespectful to both of us. Ma'am, you don't owe me explanations. Yes, I do. You went above and beyond your job description. You helped me avoid public humiliation, You got me home safely, made sure I didn't hurt myself, stayed until I was okay. That matters, and I want to acknowledge it properly. So first, thank you. Genuinely, you saved me from what could have been a career-ending scandal. You're welcome, but honestly, any decent person would have done the same. No, they wouldn't have. Most people in your position would have taken photos, sold them to tabloids, or at minimum gossiped about it. You did none of that. You treated me with dignity when I least deserved it. That's rare. That's valuable. And Stell, can I call you Stell? If you want. Stell, I meant what I said Friday, about wanting to actually know you, about not treating you as invisible help. I've been thinking about my behavior, how I've worked here for 3 years alongside you and never bothered to learn about your life, your son, your story. That's on me. That's privilege and thoughtlessness. I'm sorry. Stellan was stunned. CEOs didn't apologize to drivers. They especially didn't acknowledge privilege or admit fault. Ms. Brennan? Coco, at least when it's just us. I'm tired of the formality. I'm tired of being lonely in a building full of people. Stell, I want to be friends, real friends. Is that possible? Or am I making this weird? It's complicated. There are power dynamics. You're the CEO, I'm an employee. There's race. You're white, I'm black. People will make assumptions about why you're suddenly friendly with me. And honestly, I can't risk my job. Indy depends on me. I would never risk your job. And people will always make assumptions. They assumed I was cold and unfeeling until Friday proved otherwise. We can't control perception. But Stell, I'm asking, can we try? Can you tell me about your life, your son, your late wife? Can I know the man who showed me such kindness? Why? Why does this matter to you? Because Friday night you treated me like a human being when everyone else treats me like a corporate entity. You saw past the CEO title to the hurting woman underneath? That's rare. That matters. I want to understand who you are the same way you clearly understand who I am. Stell considered. Every instinct said this was dangerous. Crossing lines between boss and employee, rich and working class, white and black. But Coco's eyes were genuine. She wasn't playing games. She actually wanted to know him. Okay, but slowly and carefully. I'll tell you about me, but we need boundaries. This can't affect work. Can't become gossip fodder. And if it gets complicated, we stop. Deal? Deal. So tell me, Indy, tell me about your son. For the next hour, in that corner office overlooking Manhattan, Stellan told Cosette Brennan about his life, about Saffron, his late wife who died in a car accident 3 years ago, about Indy, who was brilliant and sensitive and still asking when mommy was coming home, about working multiple jobs to make ends meet, about choosing driving because it paid well and gave him time with his son, about the constant struggle of single parenthood. You're incredible, Coco said softly. Raising a child alone, working full-time, staying present and loving, that's real strength. It's just what you do when you're a parent. You show up. Saffron would expect nothing less. Tell me about her. Your wife. She was a teacher, elementary school. Met her at Howard. She was education major. I was business. We were opposite in every way except that we both believed in service. She wanted to teach kids. I wanted to build community businesses. We got married young, had Indy, were so happy. Then a drunk driver ran a red light and she was gone. Just like that, everything changed. I'm so sorry. Me too. But Stell, can I call you that? Indy keeps me going. Every day I wake up for him, make breakfast, do school drop-off, work, pick up, homework, dinner, bedtime routine. It's exhausting and lonely, but it's also purpose. He's my purpose. You're a good father, I can tell. I'm trying. Some days I feel like I'm failing, like I can't possibly be enough without Saffron, but I keep trying. They talked for 2 hours about his life, her life, the loneliness of their very different circumstances, about how success and wealth didn't prevent heartbreak, about single parenthood and corporate pressure and learning to be human in environments that demanded perfection. This was good, Coco said finally. Thank you for trusting me with your story. Thank you for asking, and for not pretending Friday didn't happen. That honesty matters. I'm learning honesty matters more than image. Stell, can we do this again? Talk like this? Maybe outside work? That's crossing another line. I know, but I think you're worth the crossing. Think about it. Their friendship grew carefully. Lunches in Coco's office where Stell would bring Indy sometimes. The 6-year-old charming the CEO with stories about school and superhero theories. Coffee shop meetings where they'd talk about everything except work. Slow building of trust between two lonely people from different worlds. People are noticing, Ainsley warned Stell one afternoon. You and Miss Brennan, the time you spend together. People are talking. We're just friends. Are you? Stell, I see how she looks at you, how you look at her. This is more than friendship, and it's dangerous. You're her employee. She's still recovering from Forrest. The optics alone. I know. We're being careful. Careful isn't enough. Remington Voss is already making racist comments about you getting too familiar with the CEO. He's been looking for reasons to get you fired since you started. Don't give him ammunition. Remington Voss, the senior VP of operations, old money racist who'd made Stell's life difficult from day one, questioned why a driver needed business meetings with the CEO, made comments about those people getting special treatment. Classic corporate racism disguised as concern. I'm not doing anything inappropriate. You don't have to. You're black. She's white and you're boss. That's enough for people like Remy. Be careful. But being careful became harder as feelings deepened. Stell was falling for Coco, her intelligence, her humor when she let her guard down, the way she was with Indy. And he could see she felt the same. The way she'd touch his arm during conversation, the way she'd light up when he arrived, the way she'd started asking about his days with genuine interest. I'm falling for you, Coco admitted one evening when Stell was dropping her at home after a late meeting. I know I shouldn't. I know it's complicated. But Stell, you make me feel seen, happy, like I can be myself without performance. That's rare. That's precious. Coco, I'm falling for you too. Have been since that first real conversation in your office. But we have to be realistic. About what? That I'm your boss? I'll recuse myself from any decisions affecting you. That you're black and I'm white? So what? That's society's problem, not ours. Stell, what else? That I'm a widower with a child. That I have baggage and responsibility and limited time. That dating me isn't glamorous. It's homework help and early bedtimes and PTA meetings. You're used to fancy dinners and corporate events. My life is decidedly unglamorous. I don't want glamorous. I want real. And Stell, I adore Indy. He's incredible. Being part of his life wouldn't be a burden. It would be an honor. What about Saffron? About the fact that you'd be with someone who's still grieving his late wife. I'd never try to replace her. But Stell, grief and new love can coexist. You can honor Saffron's memory while building something new with me. I'm not threatened by your past. I'm honored you'd consider sharing your future. And the scandal? Because Coco, if we do this, people will talk. Your board, my community, the media, successful white CEO dating her black driver? That's headlines waiting to happen. Then let them talk. I'm tired of living for other people's opinions. Forrest taught me that. I tried to be perfect, tried to fit his image of the ideal partner, and he still cheated. I'm done performing. I want authenticity. I want you. Stell kissed her then, gentle, tentative, in the parking garage where anyone could see. And it felt like coming home. They started dating secretly. Dinner at his apartment where Indy would show Coco his drawings and explain elaborate superhero storylines. Weekend trips to the park, the three of them looking like a family to outsiders. Movie nights where Indy would fall asleep between them on the couch. This feels right, Coco said one evening, watching Indy sleep. Being with you both, like I've found something I didn't know I was missing. Family. You found family. Coco, you fit here. With us. Indy asks about you constantly. When are you coming over? Can you read him stories? Do you want to see his new Legos? He's attaching. Is that bad? It's terrifying. Because if this doesn't work, he loses someone else. I can't do that to him. Can't let him love you and then lose you. You won't. Stell, I'm not going anywhere. I love Indy. And I love you. I know it's fast, but I've never been more certain of anything. I love you too. God help me. I love you completely. But Coco, we need to be careful. For Indy's sake and for both our careers. This has to work. Then we make it work. Keeping the relationship secret lasted 3 months. Then Forrest Kane, Coco's ex-fiancé, found out, and he was furious. He showed up at the office unannounced, barging into Coco's corner office where she was working late. Stell was there, reviewing schedule changes, both of them laughing about something Indy had said. So this is why you weren't interested in reconciling? Forrest's voice was acid. You've downgraded to the help? The driver? Jesus, Cosette, I knew you'd rebound, but I didn't think you'd stoop this low. Get out. Coco stood, voice cold. You have no right to be here. I have every right. I'm still a major shareholder. And what I'm seeing, the CEO fucking the driver, that's a scandal waiting to destroy this company. Does the board know you're sleeping with your employee? Does HR know about this inappropriate relationship? What Coco and I do in our personal time is none of your concern, Stell said evenly. Personal time? You're fucking your boss, probably for job security or money or whatever other benefits you can extract. That's textbook sexual harassment. I'm not harassing anyone. Not you, idiot. Her. She's in a position of power. This is abuse of authority. Coco, when the board finds out, and they will find out, you're finished. All because you couldn't keep your legs closed around the help. Stell moved toward Forrest, rage building. Coco stopped him. Leave, now, or I call security. Call security. Better yet, I'll call the board myself. Let them know their CEO is compromising company integrity by fucking the black driver. That'll go over well. After he left, Coco was shaking. He's going to the board. He's going to make this public and ugly. Then we get ahead of it. Coco, we tell them ourselves. Explain that yes, we're in a relationship, but it's consensual, equal, not affecting work. We control the narrative before Forrest does. They'll force you out. The board won't accept this. Then I leave. Coco, I'm not letting you sacrifice your career for me. I'll resign, find other work. No, absolutely not. Stell, I'm not losing you because of optics or Forrest's vindictiveness. We fight this together. They went to Magnolia Reed, the HR director, first. Nola was progressive, fair, had always treated Stell with respect. How long have you been dating? 3 months, Coco admitted. We've been careful. It's not affecting work. There's no quid pro quo. It's a genuine relationship. Between CEO and employee. That's problematic from HR perspective, regardless of intent. Ms. Brennan, you understand the power dynamics. I do, which is why I've recused myself from any decisions affecting Stellan's employment. He reports to Ainsley now for all work matters. I'm not his direct supervisor. That helps. But the optics. Successful white CEO, working-class black driver. People will assume exploitation regardless of truth. People assume a lot of things, Stell said. That doesn't make them true. Nola, I'm not being coerced. I'm not using her for advancement. We're two adults who fell in love despite complications. That's all. I believe you. But Stell, you understand. If this goes public, you'll face scrutiny. Assumptions about your motives, your character. Are you prepared for that? I've faced racism my entire life. I'm prepared. The board meeting was brutal. Remington Voss led the attack. Ms. Brennan, you've compromised this company by engaging in inappropriate relations with staff. A black driver, no less. The optics alone are devastating. The optics of what? Coco challenged. Of me dating someone I care about? Of an interracial relationship? Be specific about what bothers you, Remy. You're the CEO. He's a driver. The power imbalance has been addressed. Stellan no longer reports to me. All work decisions go through Ainsley. There's no quid pro quo, no coercion, no inappropriate conduct. Just two people in a consensual relationship. That the media will destroy you for. CEO dating her driver. That's a headline, not a love story. You're making us look ridiculous. Or making you uncomfortable, Attorney Waverly Stone interjected. Because it challenges your assumptions about class and race. Remy, unless you have evidence of actual impropriety, this is a personal matter. Personal matters that affect company reputation are board business. Then here's my position. Thayer Beaumont, Coco's brother and board member, spoke up. My sister is the best CEO this company's ever had. Under her leadership, profits are up 40%. We've expanded into 3 new markets. And employee satisfaction is at an all-time high. If you want to fire her because she's dating someone you deem beneath her, you're admitting this is about classism and racism, not business. Is that really the position you want to take? The board voted 5-3 in favor of allowing the relationship to continue with monitoring. But Ms. Brennan, the chairman said, any hint of impropriety, any suggestion that Mr. Holloway is benefiting inappropriately from this relationship, and we revisit this decision. Understood? Understood. Outside the boardroom, Stell was waiting. What happened? We won. Barely. But Stell, this is just the beginning. Forrest will leak this to media. We need to prepare. For what? For becoming a spectacle. For our relationship being dissected publicly. For Indy potentially facing questions at school about his dad dating his boss. Are you ready for that? If it means keeping you, yes. Journalist Landry Quinn broke the story a week later. Brennan Pharma CEO in controversial relationship with driver. Class and race complicate corporate romance. The article was mostly fair, but the comment section was vicious. Gold digger using her for money. She's having a midlife crisis. Slumming with the help. This is what happens when white women reject their own race. He's obviously manipulating her. Don't read the comments. Dr. Maven Cross, the company therapist Coco had been seeing, advised. Internet anonymity brings out the worst in people. Focus on your truth. But the comments affected everything. Indy came home from school crying because kids said his daddy was a gold digger. Stell faced harassment in the building's parking garage, racist slurs, questions about how good she must be in bed to risk your job, constant undermining of his character. I can't do this, Stell told Coco one night after Indy was asleep. Watch my son suffer because of our relationship. Watch you defend us constantly. Maybe Forrest and Remy are right. Maybe this is too complicated. You don't mean that. I do. Coco, I love you. But I love Indy more. And watching him hurt because people can't accept us, that destroys me. So we give up. Let racists and classists win? Stell, if we walk away, we're telling Indy that love can't overcome prejudice. That's not a lesson I want him to learn. But what if protecting him means walking away? Or what if protecting him means showing him that love is worth fighting for? That his father chose happiness despite obstacles? Stell, Indy sees you happy for the first time since his mother died. Don't take that away from him or yourself, because small-minded people are uncomfortable. Preacher Sterling Wade, from Stell's church, offered similar counsel. Son, you're facing what every interracial couple faces, judgment from both communities. Your black community questions why you date outside your race. Her white community questions your motives. But here's truth. Love transcends those boundaries if you're brave enough. Are you brave enough? I'm terrified. Good. Means it matters. Means she matters. Don't let fear win. They decided to fight. Publicly. Coco wrote an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal. Why I'm dating my former driver and why it's nobody's business but ours. In it, she detailed everything. Meeting Stell, the night she got drunk, and he saved her from scandal. Slowly building friendship, then love. The resistance they'd faced. Why it was worth it. Society wants to reduce our relationship to class and race. To see Stellan as a gold digger or me as slumming. But here's reality. He's a Howard-educated businessman who chose family over career. I'm a CEO who finally found someone who sees me as Coco, not just a title. We're two people who fell in love despite complications. That's it. That's the whole story. If that makes you uncomfortable, examine why. Because your discomfort says more about you than us. The article went viral. Responses were mixed, but supportive voices emerged. Other interracial couples sharing their stories. Working-class people defending Stell's credentials. Parents praising him for prioritizing his son. You're brave, Bertie Locke told Coco when she visited Stell's apartment. Not many people would fight like this. But honey, understand. Stellan's been through hell. Lost his wife, raised his boy alone, faced racism constantly. Don't add to his pain. Love him right or let him go. I intend to love him right. Mrs. Locke, I'm not going anywhere. Good, because that man deserves happiness. And Indy deserves a mama who will love him like Saffron did. Can you be that? I'm trying. Every day I'm trying. How's the story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think. A year after that drunken night at the gala, Stell proposed. Not elaborately. Just at home one evening, Indy helping. Both of them nervous. Coco, this past year has been the hardest and best of my life. You've shown me I can love again. That Indy can have a family again, that happiness is possible after loss. Will you marry me? Will you be Indy's stepmom and my partner in everything? Yes. God, yes. Stell, I'll marry you. I'll love Indy. I'll build this life with you despite every obstacle. They married 6 months later. Small ceremony at Preacher Sterling's church. Intimate, meaningful, full of the people who'd supported them. Indy stood as ring bearer, proudly announcing, "My daddy's marrying Coco," to anyone who'd listen. You sure about this? Thayer asked his sister before the ceremony. Marrying someone from such a different background? Becoming an instant stepmom? I've never been more sure of anything. Stell saved me. Not that night at the gala, but every day since. He showed me what real partnership looks like. what love without performance looks like. That's worth every complication. The ceremony was beautiful. Preacher Sterling spoke about love transcending boundaries, about grief and new joy coexisting, about building families from unexpected places. Stellan lost his first wife tragically. Cosette thought she'd found love, but found betrayal instead. Both were broken. Both were lonely. Then they found each other, first as employer and employee, then as friends, then as partners. They faced racism, classism, scandal, and judgment. But they're here. Because love, real love, survives everything society throws at it. That's not just romance. That's revolution. Years later, they'd tell their story to Indy's younger siblings, 2 more children, both beautiful mixed-race babies who'd never understand why anyone cared about skin color, at speaking engagements about corporate ethics and personal authenticity, to couples facing similar obstacles. Daddy saved Mommy from being drunk? Indy would ask. Teenager now, understanding the story differently. He saved me from destroying my reputation, Coco would explain. But more than that, he saved me from loneliness, from living a life that looked perfect but felt empty. He showed me what real partnership looks like. And Mommy didn't pretend it didn't happen, Stell would add. That mattered. Most people would have been embarrassed, would have acted like I hadn't seen them vulnerable. Your mom owned it, acknowledged it, built from that honesty. That's what made everything else possible. Were people mean to you? Because of race and class? Their middle child would eventually ask. Very mean, Coco would admit. They questioned your father's motives, called him gold digger, questioned my judgment, reduced our love to stereotypes. It hurt, but we survived, Stell would add. By focusing on our truth, by loving each other loudly and publicly, by showing Indy, and eventually you too, that love transcends every boundary if you're brave enough. That's the lesson. They built a foundation, the Saffron Holloway Memorial Fund, providing scholarships for single parents pursuing education, supporting interracial families facing discrimination, helping widows and widowers rebuild after loss. We want others to have the chances we had, Stell would explain at fundraisers, to not be limited by class or circumstance, to find love despite complications, to build families from unexpected places. Their story became legend in corporate world and beyond. The CEO who didn't pretend to forget, the driver who saved her and then won her heart, the love that shouldn't have worked but did, because both people chose authenticity over performance. Do you regret it? Someone asked Coco at a conference. Dating your employee? Facing all that scandal? Never. Stell is the best decision I ever made. Yes, it was complicated. Yes, we faced resistance. Yes, people judged. But the alternative was living without. That's not living. That's existing. I choose love every single time. And Stell, hearing this, would add, Coco didn't pretend to forget that vulnerable night. She owned it, built from it. That honesty made everything else possible. Because real love, the kind that lasts, starts with seeing each other truly, vulnerabilities and all. We saw each other, and we chose each other anyway. That's the revolution. From drunk boss and concerned driver to partners building empire and family together. From scandal and judgment to love that transcended every boundary. From pretending nothing happened to building everything from that raw honesty. That was their story. Messy, complicated, revolutionary, and real. Proving that sometimes the best love stories start with someone drunk and vulnerable, and someone else choosing kindness when they could choose judgment, with acknowledgement instead of pretending, with authenticity instead of performance. And it all started with one simple act, a black single dad saving his drunk boss from trouble. And the next day, she didn't pretend to forget. She remembered. She acknowledged. She chose him, and that made all the difference.